In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys all of the different ways that I do storefront sourcing as an Amazon FBA online arbitrage seller. Now, storefront sourcing is one of the most beginner-friendly ways to find profitable products on Amazon. But don't be stupid enough to assume it's a method exclusively for beginners, right? You know, I know sellers doing 10K plus profit a month that do exclusively storefront. Now, I've been doing Amazon FBA for 2.5 years now, and just last month, I made over £32,000 from my Amazon FBA store. And thousands of that did actually come from storefront sourcing, in particular, the 2 bits of software that I cover in the second half of this video. So make sure to watch all the way to the end, because even experienced Amazon FBA sellers like me would definitely benefit from knowing how I utilize these bits of software as part of my sourcing routine. And there will be links to both these bits of software in the video description. So storefront sourcing, let's get into it. So method number 1 is probably the most common way that people do it, and that is manually using SellerAmp SaaS to check through a massive list of sellers and just manually picking out storefronts and then just manually going through all that seller's products and trying to find matches for them. So let me show exactly how you actually do this. So yeah, you should be able to see on screen now this listing here, this Medicube collagen cream. So really fast selling listing. Now I've just picked out this listing because there is a lot of other sellers on here. At one point there was like 105 different sellers. It's kind of an example of the sort of listing you kind of want to stay away from, but it is a great resource for storefront sourcing because we get a big list of sellers to be looking through. So all you want to do is go onto SaaS and click load more, so you get a big list of offers. And then you want to just pick out any sellers that have between, I'd say, 100 and 300 reviews. That's kind of the sweet spot from what I found for storefront sourcing. Any more than that, you risk looking at people that are doing a lot more wholesale or deals that are just really hard to find. And any less than that, you're probably looking at newer sellers. So there's a good chance they're doing a lot of storefronting themselves because, you know, admittedly, it is quite a common sourcing method for beginners. And so the sweet spot is in the middle where people haven't yet progressed to, I guess, my sort of levels where you're finding stuff that no one else is really going to be able to find from a quick Google search. But they're also, you know, not just doing storefront sourcing, they're actually sourcing products themselves in different ways. So you're going to be able to kind of track down where they're buying a lot of their stuff from. So if we have a look on this big list here, so we've got Max Shop. See, this person, way too many reviews, definitely doing wholesale. So from these 4 sellers, let's have a little look. So this person's got 14 listings. I usually kind of want to see sellers that have a good number of listings, like at least like 100, if not more ideally. This person's got 14 as well. This person has 57,000. Surely that could not be right. I don't know. I feel like that's some sort of error because it says over here they've got 70. It's still got like 80 listings, which makes a lot more sense. Yeah, showing as 0. I think there's a bit of a glitch with SellerAmp, so just ignore that. It doesn't usually say that. But yeah, this person, they've got something like 50 listings. This person's got about 100. So these could potentially be good sellers to look into. These people do a lot of beauty. I'd also be careful about sellers that have too much of one single brand or just like a couple different brands. This person's got a lot of different products, but they are heavy on beauty, which does kind of maybe suggest they're doing wholesale just because they've only got really that one category. This person, meanwhile, they've got a bit more of a variation. They've got some beauty products, but they've also got like automotive products and pet supplies. There's a much higher chance that this person is just doing arbitrage, which is the kind of person we want to be looking at. So now we found someone that has a mix of products across lots of different brands, a mix of products across different categories, has a good number of reviews, but not too many. From here, we just want to Google everything on their product page. So we start with the Medicube itself, then we can go over to this product here, and we want to just rinse and repeat until we can kind of find some suppliers for these products. Now it might seem a little time consuming, and I guess it can be, but at the end of the day, you're doing this to make some money. You've got to put in a little bit of effort, but you just want to be going through every single shop on this list. I'm not going to do it for the sake of the video, but you know, go through Just My Look, Stylevana, Yes Style, Skin Cupid, all these different sites you want to be looking at, and also checking the coupon codes and promotions and trying to figure out where exactly they're getting this stuff from. Now, there are some pros and cons to this method. The pro is it's just fairly simple. You know, it's really easy to follow. You just need to find a bunch of other sellers, have a look what they're selling, Google it, and it just kind of takes a bit of time, but eventually you will find many different products that you are able to find the source for. The negatives to this method though is that it's really, really common. A lot of people are doing this nowadays, especially newer sellers, and that leads to getting low quality leads that end up tanking in price. With arbitrage, you know, it's more important than ever keyword that you want to be finding the listings that no one else is really finding. You want to be getting those products where you don't have a lot of competition. If you're finding these low-hanging fruit kind of deals where you're just easily able to Google it and within a couple pages find exactly where they're getting it from, there's a good chance that other people are doing that too, and you're going to then see them on the listing. I do still recommend this method to beginners just because of the simplicity and how even if maybe you don't make a huge margin on these products because the prices tank a bit, at least you get used to sourcing and find some websites in the process you can source in other ways. But at the end of the day, if you want to make serious money doing storefronting, you got to get a bit more high tech and, you know, not be doing it manually like this. It's just time consuming on top of it as well. It's just, you know, it's a long process. I could go through this entire storefront and maybe just get unlucky and not find a single thing. Now you might be wondering, how exactly did I find that listing? How did I get on this listing with, you know, 100 other sellers on it? And it's actually really, really simple. So you want to go into Keeper and go to Data and go to the Product Finder tool. And we're going to have some just really simple filters for this. So we're just going to do 0 to 50,000 sales rank. That's just to kind of get rid of anything that doesn't really sell that well. And then you want to scroll down a little bit to the offer count section. Now you can use the total offer count and new offer count things, and that will give you a little bit more results, but you tend to just have to sift through a few more listings that might just have the same seller on it 100 times for some reason. But I found down here this little field, count of retrieved live offers. This works really well for finding these listings that have a lot of other sellers on them. So we can then just click find products and then we can have a look on here. So yeah, I can see at one point there was like 130 people on this listing. And if we then head on to SAS and go down to the offer count, we can now see there's 78 other FBA sellers, and there's a massive list of people that we can now go through that are all doing arbitrage and could potentially be some good storefronts to monitor. Now the best thing you can do when you're doing this method is just to note down all of the seller IDs for all of the sellers that you're looking at. And then that way you have a big list that you can go back and just check on those sellers weekly, because, you know, if they're an active seller, they'll be actively getting in new stock all the time. And if you're able to check their stores as quickly as possible and as often as possible, you're going to find those products that are newly listed, and there'll be less of a gap between you actually searching for that product and that seller actually finding that product originally on whatever website they got it from. And if you can close that gap and basically just ensure that you're checking those products the second that they're listed on Amazon by that seller, you're gonna have a much better chance of actually finding that product on Google. Now, with that being said, that is kind of where Storefront Bot comes in. So Storefront Bot is an amazing piece of software brought out by the same team that's behind Chaos. And with Storefront Bot, you're able to monitor loads and loads of different sellers. Every time that they list a new product, it will pull that through to the software, and it will then try and find a match for that product automatically online. So here is the dashboard for Storefront Bot. So as you can see, I'm monitoring 26 sellers at the moment. You can see these people have been very busy in their kind of uploading of new products. Simple as that really. It will pull through these new products here. You can see the date that they were actually found. It's actually interesting to note as well that it is the 11th today, which is a Sunday, and you can see it hasn't pulled through any products since Friday, because over the weekend I'm guessing Amazon just hasn't really been checking in much stock, or at least from these sellers. And if we head over to matches as well, from here we can literally see all of the products that it's actually tried to match it to. So it's not perfect. It will get the occasional thing wrong. For instance, this Skechers here at the top, you can see it has brought up some Skechers shoes, but you know, none of these look like the exact same shoe. But you can see down here we've got more matches to kind of go through. We can have a look at all these different sites and see if any of these match up to the product. You can see here we've got this MSI monitor. You got it here for £99, and on Amazon it's 148. And it will go through here and it will just try and match up all of these products to sites on Google, just automatically, you know, without you having to do anything else. I found loads and loads of products using this software, and I definitely do recommend it because it cuts down the amount of time that you have to spend sourcing by such a great degree. Rather than having to Google each one of these products and go through pages and pages of searching and still probably not really finding it, with this software you can cut out all the stuff that isn't matchable at all to stuff on Google, and it'll flag up anything that's potentially the same, and you can just manually review that. And then instead of searching far afield for products you may never find, you just straight away get potential matches, and it's just a case of sorting through all these matches rather than having to sort through loads of products you might not actually ever find. Really, the only downside to using software like this to kind of improve your sourcing is that you have to pay for the software. That's pretty much it. There are so many positives. This is time saving. You're gonna have way more deals because you can check through stuff so much quicker, and just generally you can make more profit. I mean, yeah, sure, you have to pay for the subscription, but one single deal could pay for that monthly subscription for the month. So, you know, I would definitely recommend checking this out. You can also see here, this is where you add all of the different stores that you want to be adding. You can add as many as you like. Now, Storefront Bot is great, but at the end of the day, it only does one thing. It just storefronts people. It's good, it's cheap, you can get packages for it for a very good price, but, you know, it's a one-trick pony at the end of the day. It only does that one sourcing method. Now, my personal favorite sourcing software is something called Profit Path, and it has something called Spy Search, where you're then able to see other people's storefronts and the products that they are uploading. So we have a look at the Profit Path dashboard here. You can see it even loads in all your sales figures as well. There's like a little personalized to-do list, which I think is quite sweet. But yeah, there's lots of different features for this software, but in this video I will just talk about the Storefront Bot search, or the Spy Search. So if we head over to the Spy Search, you can see I've got a bunch of different sellers added, and I've just added them all. I've not set any sort of filters, though you can get very technical. There's lots of different things that you can filter with. You know, maybe you only want to sell products that are over 40 inches in height. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but if you did want to do that, you've always got the option. But yeah, you can see here it is pulling through all these products that have been sourced and uploaded by the sellers that I'm monitoring, and you can see the matching is actually really good. So you can see you've got this here, you've got the buy price here and the sell price. So you can just click on here, click on the Amazon price, and it'll pull through where exactly you can find products for cheap. It'll then pull through the actual product page, so you can see this product has actually declined in price a little bit, but again, it's just a case of kind of going through all of these different results. Some of them, you know, like this one, it's out of stock, but we just got to persist. You just got to check loads and loads of different products. You can see underneath the image as well, like when it was last updated, and obviously this red sign indicates that it was out of stock when they last checked it. But it can be really good. It's just a case of kind of, yeah, just sorting through loads of different stocks. So yeah, we can see that My Origins had this at $39.73, which is a crazy cheap price for this. And as you can see, you know, 10 sales a month does good profit and ROI. Could potentially be a really good product to be looking at. See, you already get like the profit and ROI figures. So maybe if you've got a strict minimum ROI like me, I won't sell anything that's under 20% ROI. So stuff like this here, I just wouldn't want to touch because it's a little bit low on the ROI side. And I find this tool is just amazing. I mean, it just like Storefront Bot, it cuts out so much time from sourcing, but also having this feature and all the other features in the software all under like one roof as such, all on the same website and all included within the same fairly affordable subscription package. I find it to be, you know, really good, really good for making profit through storefronting. And you definitely have a massive advantage over all the people that are just doing it in the more traditional manual way I showed you at the start of the video, because all of these products can be freshly uploaded from other people's stores, and you can be tracking, in theory, you know, 250 different storefronts that you've singled out over lots of research through Keeper Product Finder, stuff like that. And from all those different storefronts, you could be getting a huge amount of products that are pinging through daily, automatically matching up to searches on Google. And your whole sourcing routine could be very much based on storefront sourcing, where you just go onto Profit Path, have a look what other people have sourced for the day, copy what they're doing, and just put in fairly minimal effort and still get a decent bit of profit out of it. Now, I will have another video on Profit Path coming out soon, but you know, they've got even more features now, not just the kind of research features. We've also got Product Analyzer, Product Search, and even got Profit Go, which is something I will cover soon, but it's basically a replacement for SellerAmp SaaS. So, you know, you can cut out your SellerAmp subscription, just have Profit Path, and you've got Storefront Bot, you've got automatically searching websites, you know, you've got so many different features. Now, there will be a free trial and a discount code down below, so make sure to go check it out, because honestly, it's going to take me a very long video to cover all the features they've now got in this software. It is mind-blowing. So there you have it. That is my 101 on storefront sourcing. Now, the links to Storefront Bot and Profit Path will be in the video description down below, and the top link, as always, will direct you to my website, where you can apply for my 6-month-long Amazon FBA mentorship program. Now, this program is designed to help you improve your product sourcing and scale your Amazon FBA business to infinite levels. Included within that is a 10-hour-long video course, one-to-one calls with me, weekly group sessions, and access to exclusive, high ROI, fast-selling products for you to purchase without even having to source them yourself. Now, make sure to drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more Amazon FBA content from me. And you can click up here to view my interview with Luca, the genius behind Profit Path, and I very much recommend checking it out.